Okay, welcome to this video. This is the second in the series of learning to fly with Velocidrone, and if you haven't watched the first video, check out our YouTube channel and just look for the flight training video number 1, which will take you through how to set the drone up, which we've already done. So we're still in angle mode, and what we're going to be doing now is going to be looking at trying to fly a little bit faster and how that changes things. So if I just pop the model up into the hover again, like so, just get it kind of bouncing in ground effect there. I push the stick forward to get us moving, just very gently, a bit more throttle, and I'm just going to push the nose of the quad forward more and more and more and add more throttle so that we're moving much faster. And then both sticks together to the left to make the turn. Use the throttle to control the height, bring the throttle back in so we don't hit the ground. Both sticks together to make the turn to the left, keep nudging it forward so it doesn't stop. You can see I'm adjusting the throttle all the time and adjusting the sticks all the time. That's one of the difficulties with learning to fly a quad, is it's not like a plane, it won't fly forwards all the time. It will stop when you make a turn. If you don't keep the nose down a little bit, it's going to stop and stall, so you just kind of need to keep the pressure on. You can see on that right hand stick I'm holding the stick forwards all the time, even in the turns, just to keep the speed on and to keep the quad going, and I'm just controlling my height gently on the throttle. Now this is true for angle mode, but when we get into rate mode, which is how quad racers fly, you can't actually hold the stick forward anymore because it's no longer going to stabilize for you. So once we get into a place where we're flying around like this, if we start to fly a lot faster, so if I really start to put the nose down and fly a lot faster, you can see that we start having difficulties with seeing where we're going because all we can see is the ground. So if I really start to go a lot faster, you can see I can't actually see where the pylons are because I'm looking at the ground all the time. To make this turn, I can't actually see that pylon because I'm looking down. Well, let's just reset back to the grid. The reason for that is the camera angle. So if you remember in the first video, we set the camera angle really quite low, and that's so that when you yaw it doesn't look weird. So it looks like when you're yawing that you're making a turn around an axis. The thing about lots of camera angle, so if I put in lots of camera angle, so if I put in say 60 degrees of camera angle, the first problem you've got is you can't see the horizon anymore, and the second problem, if I take off and turn a bit, is that you can't really see what's going on either. You haven't really got much of a clue as to what is going on or where we're going. Now if I just take us off and put the nose down and fly very fast forward and then yaw, you'll see that something really weird happens, and that's because the camera is not in line with the quad. It's kind of facing up and away from the quad rather than along the axis of the quad. So when you just yaw, you get this weird effect where the horizon tilts, which you're not expecting. So again, that's another reason why when you start to fly quads you have your camera angle right down here at around 20 degrees, so that when you do that yaw, this is yaw, when you do that yaw you don't get a strange kind of angle to the horizon because the quad is tilted right the way forwards. But in order to fly faster you need to see more of where you're going, so your camera angle's got to come up. So one of the things that you need to do in order to get to fly faster is you need to start raising your camera angle. So if we go to say 30 degrees and I reset us to the start grid and I fly this relatively fast, you'll see that I'm now not really struggling to see where I'm going. I'm not looking at the ground. I can see out and away from the front of the quad as to what's coming. And that's the reason why we want to aim for having a higher and higher camera angle. The higher your camera angle, the faster you can fly, because you've got the quad tilted up more, but also it allows you to see where you're going. If you don't raise your camera angle, all you're going to see when you're flying fast is the ground, and then you can't plan or target for where you need to go next. So that's why camera angle is so important. Okay, so at some point you'll get to the stage where you can fly around these pylons with 30 degrees or 40 degrees of camera angle, and you can bank your sticks to the left and make a nice turn like this, and make it nicely through the pylons again, and all of this is going to feel really quite natural and good. Now the moment you reach that stage where you can fly around at the kind of speed you just saw, you want to stop using angle mode, because you can't really race a real quad in angle mode, because it's fighting you all the time. It's always trying to level out, and that is always going to stop you from being fast. So what we need to do is we need to move away from angle mode next and get into rate mode, where the quad will no longer stabilize, and that's in the next video.